A former Deputy Chairperson of the Independent Electoral Commission of South Africa, Tselane, will launch the Institute of Elections Management Services in Africa in Sandton this evening. The IEMSA aims at providing support and management for election bodies on the continent, with best practice methods honed by a team of experts who have successfully managed and administered elections in their respective countries. SABC reporter Nozintombi Miya is there. Good evening, Nozintombi. Will you take us through some of the salient points of the launch?
Well, a very good evening to you, Mahendra. The program hasn't begun yet. It will begin right now. What's happening is that several of the guests that have been invited, distinguished guests from across Africa and across the country of South Africa, are slowly making their way here to Sandton at the Holiday Inn, where they're eagerly waiting for the unveiling of the Institute of Election Management in Africa. And to talk to us a little bit more about this, we have one of the board members of IEMSA, Mr. Victor Tonchi, who will give us a little bit more information. Thank you so much for joining me. Just tell me, Mr. Tonchi, what exactly is the Institute about?
Well, thank you very much. The Institute is one of those important, institutions in trying to promote democracy on the continent. It's an institute, it's a conglomeration of experienced, men and women who have been involved in election management for many, many years. Yeah. And what the intention, the objective is to ensure that we consolidate democracy on the African continent, to provide, assistance to election EMBs, which is election management bodies, and to provide services to even political parties, to provide, services to ordinary citizens who are future voters on this continent. So it's democracy. We regard it as a very important element in the in the governance and promotion of development on the African continent.
Mr. Tonchi,
it is very important. Yes,
Mr. Tonchi, that's very important. Democracy is one of the biggest underpinnings of the Institute. Which are some of the regions that you're hoping to really play a big part of in terms of the election transformation?
At the moment, as you can see, we are launching the Institute today, but we have already, been engaged in providing services, within the South African, region, South African country, in South Africa here. But I'm from Namibia. I've been chairman for almost 11 years of the Electoral Commission there. I've been with African Union Observer Missions as head for many, many years. So there are members from Zambia, from Burundi, from Nigeria, from South Africa here, some from Malawi. So we're going to assist, the problems in Malawi. There is still some, controversies. It's due to, the management of elections in this country. So we're trying to assist where we can. We have the experience because we have been there for many, many years. And we can detect and we can provide some not solutions, but at least we can alleviate some of the, problems that are encountered by election management bodies.
Let's talk about that, Mr. Tonchi. Some of the big problems that you're hoping that the Institute will be able to really start tackling. Today is definitely the launch of the Institute, which is amazing and fantastic, and there's a lot of excitement around it and a lot of interest. But what are some of the key issues that you're really hoping from country to country you'll start being able to work on, such as poverty alleviation?
Well, country to country, there are different problems because they emerge because of different backgrounds, but all the same, there are common problems. There are common problems of the electoral role, of the voters' role. How you design that, how you put it together, it has been problematic throughout the continent, and there are always controversies around it. And as experienced, not only managers, some are managers, some of us were, policy makers of electoral commissions. We understand those issues, and we could assist, the election management bodies how to go about it. So those are the controversies. It's major. And the voting and the aftermath of voting. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Victor Chonchi, one of the board members, for this new institution that is being unveiled this evening, an institution that really fashions itself as a one-stop shop for all election management services across the continent, across all various sectors of the continent, made up of different election managers and specialists in their fields that have had many years of experience, running elections and managing elections in different countries, and they're hoping that this institute will really make a difference in terms of stabilizing democracy in the countries across Africa that are struggling to stabilize their democracy and the voters' rights in terms of voting. With that, it's back to you, to the studio. Mahendra.
Thank you very much indeed. That was our SABC reporter, Nozintombi Miya.